Hi, this is Vrinda. 51 crore people in the country are undergoing the SIR. There are reports of multiple deaths of BLOs across states, and Delhi is choking under a thick smog. But this is what the Prime Minister has to say to the country on the first day of the winter session of the Parliament.
आप भी मौसम का मजा लीजिए। ड्रामा करने के लिए जगह बहुत होती है, जिसको करना है करते रहें। यहाँ ड्रामा नहीं, डिलीवरी होनी चाहिए।
विपक्ष का ड्रामा, मौसम का मजा. Is this all that the Prime Minister had to say to the country on this day? This is one of the shortest sessions of the Parliament ever, at least under the Modi government. The Modi government has seen 35 sessions of the Parliament so far, and only 3 sessions have been shorter than the one that is in progress currently. The current session of the Parliament is going to last only for 15 working days, and the opposition has been demanding that the session should have been longer, that the SIR should have been debated, that the pollution in Delhi should be a topic of discussion, but none of these demands have been entertained so far. And in the middle of all of that, the Prime Minister chooses to start the winter session on this note by transferring the onus of responsibility of running the country's parliament onto the opposition. But is the opposition really just being dramatic? Is it suffering the shock of its losses in state elections? If that is the case with the opposition, the government should be confident enough after all of its victories, the BJP should be confident after all its multiple victories in different states to be able to run the parliament session with full confidence and for a longer period of time. But that is not the case. What has been done is that right from the Prime Minister, from his position, a narrative has been set for the oncoming 15 days that if the opposition raises questions, raises demands for certain topics to be discussed in the parliament, the easy cop-out will be to say that the opposition is not responsible, that it is not allowing the parliament to be run the way it should be run. But is it the opposition's responsibility to run the parliament, or is it the government's responsibility? And let's see, if the government is so keen on delivery, as the Prime Minister has talked about drama versus delivery, can we have a parliamentary debate on the government's own delivery in the parliament? How has it fared on the parameters of parliamentary democracy within the parliament? How many days did the parliament run for? How many bills were discussed for more than 2 hours? How many bills were sent to standing committees? Let's have such a debate so that all the different sides, the opposition and the government, can put their point across and the country can know with full transparency exactly how responsible the government has been in these 12 years. It will then become evident that it is far more to the benefit of the government that the parliament does not function the way that it is supposed to. And so we might probably never get to hear that debate, get to see that debate. But let me share some data here about how recent debates and sessions in the parliament have been carried through. As per an analysis by PRS Legislative Research, at the end of 2023 winter session, half of the bills passed by the 17th Lok Sabha were discussed for less than 2 hours each, and only 16% of them were referred to parliamentary standing committees. 172 bills were discussed and passed during the entire term of the 17th Lok Sabha, the last Lok Sabha, of which 86 bills in the Lok Sabha and 103 bills in the Rajya Sabha were discussed for less than 2 hours each. This is the data for just the last Lok Sabha, and it's one of its winter sessions. But let's assume for a minute that the opposition is irresponsible. Let's see then what happens when that irresponsible opposition is not in the parliament. Let's go back to December of 2023, when more than 140 MPs of the opposition were suspended. During this time, the telecom bill was passed by the Lok Sabha when 95 of over 140 opposition MPs had been sent out of the House. The 3 criminal law bills were also cleared by an opposition-less Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And there were other amendments as well. So if the government really believes in delivery and transparency and parliamentary democracy and responsibility, then why did it not stall the discussion on these bills? Why did it not wait for the suspension of these opposition MPs to be revoked? Why did it not wait for all of them to come back and then have the debate and then pass these bills? These 3 bills, these 3 criminal laws, which were so crucial and so fundamental to every citizen of this country, they were passed when so many MPs were not even in the House. So the government cannot shirk away from its own responsibility and transfer the onus of running the House onto the opposition. The opposition is not responsible for the passage of bills without any debate, for bills that were passed in its absence. But let's come back to data. In winter session 2024, question hour functioned for just 10 minutes for 12 days out of the allotted 20 days in Lok Sabha, and for only 4 days of the allotted 19 days in Rajya Sabha. Is all of this on the opposition, really? The government has taken to not responding to oral questions enough. Why? Because then you don't have to face follow-up questions from opposition members. Because what happens often is that an opposition member would have asked a question, a minister will rise and give the answer, and then the opposition MP can ask a follow-up question. But when you just stop responding to these questions orally and you just hand in written answers which are vague, evasive and do not have the exact data, what you do is you just evade any kind of responsibility once more. And then look at this another data set from PRS. In budget session 2025, question hour functioned for 78% and 83% of its scheduled time in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha respectively. In Rajya Sabha, question hour was not held on 4 days. Why? Why was the question hour not held for 100% of the time in both of these houses? Ministers gave oral response to just 28% of start questions in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So think of what is being done to not just the passage of time, not just to the days, the duration of days for the session, but also to the quality of questions, to the quality of debate that is being conducted in the parliament. In monsoon session of 2025, just a few months ago, the Income Tax Bill 2025 and the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill 2025 were presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. No opposition members were present in the House at that time, not a single one, because a majority of them had been detained while marching towards the headquarters of the Election Commission against the Bihar electoral roll revision. Even after the opposition leaders returned, they continued to protest in the well of the House, but both the bills were passed by a voice vote after just 4 minutes of discussion. This is the state of discussion and debate in the parliament of this country. In his article for the Indian Express, TMC MP Derek O'Brien tells us that over the last 2 sessions of parliament, opposition parties have filed over 100 notices demanding a discussion related to the electoral process being more transparent. None of these were entertained, even though the Election Commission and its conduct can be discussed in the parliament. The government itself did so in December 2023 when it passed the Chief Election Commissioner's appointment bill. So the pattern is unmistakable. Bills are bulldozed through, requests of the opposition are not entertained, bills are not sent to standing committees where they can be debated further and feedback can be given on them. Question hour is truncated, the sessions and working days are getting less and less and shorter, and now the session itself has been cut short to just 15 days. All of this falls within the purview and the responsibility of the government, which the Prime Minister has now tried to transfer on to the opposition. But you know, ਹੁਣ ਕੀ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ? Delhi is choking, BLOs are dying, the election commission is posting dance videos, and you are sleeping on the steering wheel of democracy. Will it be too late when you get up? When you wake up? Time alone will tell. This is Vrinda.